We're going to make sure it's working.
Huh?
I'm going to make sure it's working.
Okay. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome into What the Puck is Going On. I am Dave Metzger. Alongside me this evening is Uncle Steve.
Hello.
Steve, how are we feeling today?
Oh, that's good, David. It's been a lovely Monday.
Excellent, excellent. So tonight we're going to get into the 6-game slate we have this evening. Definitely some games here that are going to be some tough ones, some good ones. So if you're able to tune in, I certainly would. But as usual, we're going to start off our show. We're going to go over the standings, top 3 in each division. We're going to start off in the Eastern Conference with the Atlantic Division. We got the Boston Bruins leading that division. They are 20-3, good for 40 points. They are on fire. I don't know, Steve. I can. What about a Devils Bruins Eastern Conference championship?
Lots to play still, but those two teams by far, are certainly the cream of the crop here, as we are now. I don't know, a solid 2 months into the season, I guess. Right, third month now.
Yeah, we're about anywhere from 23 to 26 games in, so we're getting a good idea of who these teams are right now. But you never know what can happen in the playoffs either. So Boston, New Jersey, long way to go yet. So we just throw that out there. Would be a pretty entertaining series, but we'll see what happens. Like I said, anything can happen in the playoffs. Low seed can beat the top team, and it's just madness. So we'll see what happens when we get there. We're a long, long way out, though. In second place in that division, we have the Toronto Maple Leafs, 15-5-6. That's good for 36 points. And in third is the Tampa Bay Lightning at 5-8-1. They are good for 31 points. So we had a little bit of movement there in that conference. Boston well out in front. Well, I wouldn't say well out. They got Toronto's right behind them, only 4 points behind. So got a little tight race up at the top there. Definitely a couple teams to keep our eye on. Tampa seems to be surging a little bit. I do believe that they play this evening. I could be mistaken. No, they do not play this evening. I'm sorry about that. All right, so we jump into the Metro here. First place, New Jersey Devils at 24-1. They are good for 41 points. They are leading the league in points as of right now, so that is the top team in the league. Boston right behind them, though. So we'll see what happens there. In second place, Carolina Hurricanes, 14-6-5, good for 33 points. They are back into the thick of that division just like I thought they would be. And I still believe that they can contend for the top spot there in the Metro. So always somebody to keep an eye on. Definitely can find the value in their game. They can usually help us out quite a bit. And in third place, still holding strong, the New York Islanders, 16-10, good for 32 points. They do not have any overtime losses. So they're holding that third spot down. And it's worth noting that if the season ended today, the two wild card teams would be the Pittsburgh Penguins and the Detroit Red Wings. There they are. Detroit, as of right now, still very early, holding a playoff spot like we talked about. We'll see if they can keep that going throughout the year. we would definitely like to see them back in the playoffs. They, Hockey Town, USA, they're a big franchise in the NHL. So we'd like to see them make it back to the playoffs. So let's jump into the Western Conference here in the Central Division. We have the Dallas Stars leading that division at 14-6-5. That is good for 33 points. Right behind them still in second place, Winnipeg Jets, 15-7-1. That's good for 31 points. And here it comes. Look out for Minnesota with a little bit of a surge. They are 13-9-2, good for 28 points, in third place in that division. They were struggling out of the gate. They weren't even in the picture of all the teams here that would be in the playoffs. So kudos to them. They are making their way back. And I thought they would definitely be in the thick of things there in the Central. And it looks like they have made their way back there. So we have a bit of a tight race in the Central, but I think we expect that probably throughout most of the year. I don't think anybody really runs away with that division. It's going to be a tight one up until the end. So we'll see what happens there. That's a division to keep an eye on. Pretty tight. So we'll jump into the Pacific here. And we got the Vegas Golden Knights, 18-7-1, good for 37 points. Look at the Seattle Kraken in second place in this division, 15-6-3. They are good for 33 points. So 4 points behind Vegas, but that's really not much. That's 2 games basically. So there's a bit of a race there in the Pacific, which is pretty surprising. But like we talked about, I think a couple of weeks ago, we definitely expected Vegas to get back into the thick of things out there in the West. Last year, I think, was just kind of a fluke for them. The Capitals this year actually really resembled them, what they went through last year. They were torn up with injuries all year. They still made a bit of a push there at the end of the season, but it just wasn't quite enough. And I think we're seeing that with the Capitals this season. They've been banged up from the start. I believe Darcy Kemper, the goalie they went out and got this offseason, they just called up somebody from Hershey, so we got to look into that a little bit, but he seems to be injured right now. And it just seems that every game somebody's getting hurt. We're 26 games in for them, and they have yet to play with the starting squad that they wanted. So they have yet to play at full health yet. We'll see if getting anybody back. There should be some guys coming back within this month. We'll see if that helps, but they are really going to have to jump on things if they're going to do anything in that conference, because that's looking like some good teams this year here in the East. So they better get on it if they want to do anything. But like I said, it's a mirror image of what Vegas went through last year. So we're getting a little taste of that this year. And in third place, the Los Angeles Kings, 13-10-4. They're good for 30 points. So they're holding there. I think they've been 3 for a while. They may have dropped down to wild card 1, but they are definitely in that race. And I would probably say that they do make the playoffs. We would have to look to see if there's any value on that. It might be a minus number, but it could always be plus, and we'd have to look on that, because that would be something if it just so happened to have plus money tagging along on it. We would definitely want to jump on that. I think that's probably about where they end the season, either third in the Atlantic or the first wild card. We'll see about that as time goes on, but that's just kind of my guess right now. And we have Edmonton and Avalanche. They would be wild card 1, wild card 2. So the Avalanche falling out of the top 3 there in that division, a little bit surprising, but I don't really think that they're too worried in Colorado. They're coming off, into the Cup year, so there's going to be a little bit of hangover for teams that are doing that, but still a very good team, still very capable. So we're not too worried about them. So with that being said, let's go ahead and jump into this evening's slate and see what we can find. Switching over to the book. All right. First game up this evening, Colorado Avalanche at the Philadelphia Flyers. Total is over-under is 6. And the Flyers are plus 170 on the money line. Colorado puck line minus 1.5. That's plus 130. You might could talk me into that. Could they beat the Flyers by 2? I would certainly think so. So, Steve, being that we're starting off here in Philadelphia, what are you thinking about this game here? Or do you have anything to add with the thoughts on the standings and all that stuff that we just went over?
I was basically just waiting for Philadelphia to kind of justify how the rest of their season is going to go. So I've been paying attention to that. And they're on a 2-game losing streak. They're 1-6-3 in their last 10. So really, they are playing terrible hockey at this point. You got to remember, they got off to the very hot start. So even at 8-12-5, none of those wins, for the most part, have been any time recently. They just had that one win in their last 10 games, but they've been able to get to overtime in those 3 stretches too. So maybe playing a little bit grittier, but they can't seem to finish it. Colorado, to me, is just a team I think we thought we said that they were going to be. Just maybe do enough to get by, get in the playoffs. They're dealing with the injury concerns as well. But, they're only 6-4 in their last 10. So that's a little concerning. But they are 8-5 on the road. They've outscored their opponents by 14 goals. And if you look at the injuries tonight, I mean, they're just loaded up, Colorado. They now have, as of today, they put 3 more players on the injured list. Lakinen's one of them. Over the weekend, they lost another player. So right now, since the beginning of November the 9th, so not even 1 month, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Colorado has lost 10 players.
Yeah, that
hurts. That's scary to me. This might be a good under, to be honest. Especially if they're going to be the Flyers aren't playing well. They're obviously not scoring. And if Colorado is going to be down on their luck a little bit right now with the injuries, then maybe this is a good spot to pick an under. Philadelphia has allowed 82 goals on the year. So they are as leaky as it gets from a standpoint of giving up goals. And then Colorado, they've scored 75. They're a plus 14. Yeah, I mean, I think Colorado is the play for sure. Yes, you always have that opportunity if you have the lead to get that extra goal to win by 2 to cover the puck line. And but I don't know. Something might just kind of scream over. Colorado's missing all these players, going to have a little bit of mixed up chemistry on some of these lines. And maybe this is a good opportunity actually to take an under.
Which is actually, Steve, now that we're looking at it, it may have just changed. The over-under is 5.5.
See, moving lines like crazy people. They listen to us, Dave, and they go ahead and
that's what, yep.
And they change the lines.
So if you want to go under, Steve, as you originally thought, you are going to get plus money at plus 100 for that. Minus 120 for the over. When I see the 5.5s myself, Steve, I usually always love to play the over at 5.5 because that's pretty achievable. You have a lot better chance than the 6 if you get the push on the 6 or 6.5. I really don't like those 6.5s. So here at 5.5, that would be maybe an enticing play. You take the over at minus 120 and start building something on that. I think that could definitely happen. And let me just ask you this, Steve. With all those injuries, and anything can happen any different night. Do you take any kind of shot with the Flyers tonight at home?
So I would actually do this maybe, where I said I just like the under. I'm going to contradict myself a little bit here. because you can get plus money on the Philadelphia over total goals for the game. If you think Philadelphia can get to 3 goals, then you're going to get plus 110. So the over-under is 2.5 for the Flyers at a plus 110. I don't know. I feel like in today's NHL, you can almost backdoor yourself into 3 goals, really,
Right.
to be honest. So maybe I will take a look at that on the obscure Monday night easy play. I like these team totals. Been playing around with those a little bit and having a lot of success with it, actually. I feel like a lot of these hockey games can fly over the total, and I had Seattle over, I think, 2.5 goals against the Kings, and they got 9 goals that night.
That game was insanity.
Now that was over within, I think, 6 or 7 minutes. That was one.
Yeah, that was just insanity. If you didn't see that, we had a 9-8 overtime final hockey game just a couple nights ago.
Oh, the NHL has been very entertaining. There's been some very entertaining games. If you've been paying attention or watching or need something else new to watch, then get on the NFL. You know, some people might be like, it's too early to watch the NHL. I got to wait till after football season. You always get that kind of excuse. But if you need some weeknight entertainment and some sporting stuff, man, the NHL is providing it for sure.
Absolutely. So, and here we'll take a look at the race to X goals, which is a race to whatever number you want to pick. 2 through 5 is what I have. If we think Colorado can get to 4 first, we're getting plus 135 for that. I don't know how crazy I am about that. But it's plus money, and it's Colorado, but they have a lot of injuries. So it really does make me a little nervous going for that many. Maybe we'll see a 3-2
on the Colorado side. You're going to be able to find better plays. Maybe it's a tough slate tonight.
It is
on the board than maybe this game, which looks obvious to take Colorado, but I don't know if that's necessarily the case. Like just because of losing 10 players in 3 weeks or so, 3.5 weeks. I mean, that's a lot.
See, and that to me, Steve, we're getting plus 170 on the Flyers money line. But if you think they can take advantage and win in 60, here's your 60-minute line that you like to play, plus 270 for the Flyers. Could they take advantage of those injuries and do that? I don't know, but it's really kind of enticing.
No, that's a good number. In fact, I'll do you one better. I think this is doing yourself one better. You could take all of these bets because they're paying it so high, but you could take the Flyers to win by 1 at 9-1 odds, the Flyers to win by 2 at 9-1 odds, and the Flyers to win by 3 or more at 8-1 odds. So whichever one you hit will cover the losses of the other one. Plus 600 is your payment, no matter what, as long as they win. So not only are you getting away from the 60-minute money line and potentially losing that if it does go to overtime, you can still cash at least 6-1 if the Flyers can somehow just win.
Right.
And I would do that over the straight money line too, because it's just, why would you take plus 168 to win when you have all your bases covered by taking the Flyers plus 1 at plus 900, the Flyers plus 2 at 900, and the Flyers by 3 or more at plus 800. The last time I checked, that covers all your numbers.
Absolutely.
And if you take maybe if you put 100 on all 3 of those, you lose $200 no matter what. But you win that 8-1, you're profiting plus 600 still. That's way better than plus 168. And that's the reason why we do these kind of shows. It's that kind of thing that you need to be aware of, because if you think Philadelphia can beat the Colorado Avalanche on a night where they have a lot of injuries, but the Flyers are so poor too right now. I mean, geez. How do you take a team who's only won once in the last 10 games, right? I mean,
right.
But you do have the Monday night sucker angle, and eventually they will win.
Well, that's the thing, I think, Steve, is what night is it going to happen? Because eventually they are going to win a game. You know what I mean?
The other thing you could also do as well, this is a good way to hedge this maybe, and you could lose it all. But if you just put $10 on all 3 of those I just mentioned, Flyers by 1, Flyers by 2, Flyers by 3, then maybe you just take also Colorado team total goals over. That way, if Colorado smokes them, you still win that bet, and you can get the insurance policy and cover your losses that way.
Exactly.
Now, if Colorado wins 2-0, I have nothing for you. You can get swept off the board. But you're leaving yourself a lot of wiggle room and either a Flyers win by any number of goals or the Avalanche can simply just get the 4. I mean, you might actually grab both sides of that bet if you give Philly a 5-4 win or something.
Right. So that's actually a really good angle there, Steve, because in a game that you like you said, you really expect the Avalanche to win, but they're so banged up that maybe a bad Flyers team could take advantage of that. I don't know. It's really tough to say in this one. I'm going to have to come back to it for any kind of official play. But I think we have found some good ways to go about this game. So we'll leave that there. I'm going to come back to it. Steve, do you have any kind of pick out of it?
Officially for a play, I think I just need Tampa Bay for a nice payout to end the weekend. So I think I just stay away from any hockey tonight.
Gotcha.
And watch one football game for the most part. But yeah, I've been having fun trying to play the hockey and really close. With some wins and really close on some other big wins. It's not like I'm really getting skunked either. So there's lots of stuff to find out there on just the things we just mentioned. Over 2 goals and goal prop wins and stuff like that. But no play for me.
All right, no play from Steve. Next game up, here we go. This should be a good one. We have the Vegas Golden Knights at the Boston Bruins. So you have the Bruins -1.5 is +40. The over/under is 6. And the Vegas Golden Knights are at +155. Bruins -180 on the straight up money line. To me, in this game, oh man, I don't usually do it, but I think I would move this total. This screams over to me all night long. Both of these teams are very capable of scoring. Boston is getting some good goaltending right now, so that could be the hang up on that. But I tell you what, I see quite a few goals in this one. If we go to the team totals, let's see here. Boston, you have to go over 4.5 or +220, but over 3.5 is -110. And I think they've been scoring 3, 4, 5 goals a game, Steve. So with that being said, we definitely have quite a few ways we can go here. We could go all into the player props, goal scoring. I'm going to probably look at the game lines and maybe take a shot here. Let's just see what that is. If we're going to do an alt total here, so over 6.5 +100, over 7 +185, over 7.5 +245. I tell you, I would almost take the 7 because 7.5 can be quite tough, but over 6.5 is plus money. Steve, what do you think here? A lot of angles on this game.
Well, you said it yourself. So both teams are top 4 in goals scored. Boston has 93 on the year. That's a +44 goal differential against their opponents, which is by far and away the best in the league. Vegas, they've scored 90 goals, a +22 on their end. And if you've been waiting for Boston to cool off, keep waiting because they're 9-1 in their last 10. They've now won 3 in a row again, undefeated at home, 14-0-0. That is not known. We'll throw that out there as well. Vegas, though, on the road, 11-2-1. I mean, that is very impressive. But you got to look at their last 10, too. They're not playing their best right now, 5-4-1. So they are right there. And with just a 1-game win streak, they keep playing 500, and Seattle keeps doing what they're doing, then they're going to lose this lead in that division here. So Vegas needs to play well. This is going to be a big game for them on the road and a super tough test. I think this is a great game. We talked about games to watch and just pure entertainment. If you have nothing else going on, you can definitely tune this in at 7 o'clock, even before the football game. Just watch the first period or so and get a feel for the Boston Garden fan base there and how pumped they are for that hockey team that they got playing so well. As far as the injuries go with the Bruins, They are fine. Two players, Craig Smith and Matt Felipe, they go. They're going to be missed next couple games at least anyway, so they're out tonight. And then if we look for Vegas on their side of the injuries, then let's see. As I scroll, I'm starting to see who's in good shape and who's not. Because you got to go all the way from the B's to the V's here. So I'm going to I'll take
long way to go.
So Jack Eichel, he'll miss tonight. So he's out. That's going to be a loss for Vegas. Pietrangelo, he's going to be out. Brett Howden, he's been lost here in the last week or so. But overall, Vegas relatively healthy. Eichel could be, the center for the Golden Knights. Good player. Came over from Buffalo in that trade. Eichel could be a key miss tonight for Vegas. I mean, you can't, Boston's won 14 games at home out of 14. So I think you just have to lean with that. But I like your approach with the over. I think you could just take the blanket 6 and ride that all day.
Right.
Minus 110, why not?
Also, Steve, here's a play that I might think about as well. We're going to go back to the race. Race to 4. If you think, because I think one of these teams will score 4 goals.
This has every bit of 6-4 written all over.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you think Vegas gets there first, you're getting plus 340 on them. But if not, and if we're thinking Boston at home on fire to get to 4 first, plus 135 on that. So I'm going to probably play this game twice, 2 different angles. I went ahead and moved that total to 6.5. So I'm getting plus money out of that. But the Bruins to get to 4 first is paying more. I have plus 100 in my ticket, but the race to 4 for the Bruins is plus 135. So I kind of like that play. Like I said, I think I'm going to come back and play that in something else. But other than that, in this game, really, I see a lot of firepower, and I see quite a few goals going in the net here.
The 60-minute Vegas total goals over 2.5 is just minus 106. And over 3.5 for Boston is plus 108. So I think you could take both of those for sure.
Oh, absolutely. So there's a lot of ways to navigate this game. You could do quite a few things with it. And like I said, or like Steve said, if you're looking just for some entertainment, and you're able to watch this game, I would certainly give it a watch. It's 2 very good teams going head to head, and it should be quite an entertaining game. So let's get into the next one here. Game number 3. We're halfway through the slate. We have the St. Louis Blues traveling and playing the New York Rangers. New York Rangers are minus 1.5 is plus 145. The over-under is 6. Over 6 is plus 100. Under 6 is minus 120. We have the Blues on the money line plus 140. Rangers minus 165. They're putting a lot of faith there in the Rangers, but I think, Steve, and correct me if I'm wrong, if you've been following the NHL at all, I think we're starting to see who the New York Rangers are. And I tell you what, I think they're a little suspect. I don't think they're that good.
They definitely a little disappointing. I keep looking at them. When are they going to go on this great tear themselves? And the goalie just hasn't done the job for them. They're just 4-4-2 in their last 10. Let's see, they're only 4-6-4 at home. They have an even goal differential, so exactly 0. They haven't outscored their opponents at all. And just at 11-10-5 on the season, yeah, that's a little bit of a struggle for sure, I would say, for the Rangers.
And that's a team I think I know myself for sure thought was going to be a little bit better than that. Anything can happen after the All-Star break as well, so we'll see if they pick it up. I mean, I would certainly expect them to. But right now, they don't have that same goaltender that they did last year. And I think he bailed them out quite a bit. And we're starting to see kind of what this team is. And I don't want to call them a fraud quite yet, but they are struggling.
Paper tiger.
Yeah, yeah. So we'll see what happens with them. But let's dive in here. And I'll tell you what, Steve, I kind of like St. Louis in them in this game. I believe they are struggling a little bit themselves. But I'm telling you, 60-minute line for the Blues, plus 230. Could you get behind that?
I think so, only because of the Rangers' struggle. And but I'll say this: we're going to do the penalty box eventually, right?
Yeah.
Can I go ahead and throw in a nomination for that already?
Absolutely.
I would go ahead and look at throwing the Blues. I would throw the Blues in the penalty box because right now they've lost 3 in a row. They have a back-to-back tonight with the Rangers and at the Islanders tomorrow. And then they also have the Jets and Colorado the rest of the week. So they have 4 games this week, all on the road. Actually, the Colorado game and the Jets game will be at home. But reeling 3 losses in a row, a back-to-back, this might be an opportunity to go against St. Louis just in the stretch. Maybe not tonight.
Right.
But as they wear through this tough week, I mean, they do have a they do have a minus 21 goal differential. That doesn't look nice.
No, not at all. So we've already talked about them, but my candidate, and I'm glad you brought that up, Steve. I was getting a little ahead of myself. It's going to be the Flyers for me. They're just, everything that we just said about them, and they're playing.
They might end up in the penalty box all season, to be honest.
For real. They're playing the Avalanche tonight, so their next game up is against us on Wednesday. I know we're not playing very well, and we are hurt, but I think we can certainly beat the Flyers. And you look at the next game for them. I mean, they just have a stretch. I mean, then on Friday night, Steve, they go to Vegas to play the Golden Knights. I mean,
that's going to be a slaughter fest for sure. In that atmosphere in Vegas, St. Louis and the Rangers are both relatively healthy too for this game. No major injuries to report. Only a couple guys on the IR for both teams.
All right, so relatively healthy. Should be, I would think, a decent game. It's just, what do you do here? I kind of like the Blues. You think one way, and the other thing happens. So if we're thinking the Rangers at home, I might reverse course and go the Blues 60-minute line, with the Rangers struggles at home. So I might go ahead and just make that my play now. If we want to look at the race real quick, we can certainly do that. The race to 2 for the St. Louis Blues is plus 145, minus 145 for the Rangers. And the value only goes up for the Blues as you go along. 3 goals is plus 205. 4 is plus 350. I don't see them scoring 5 goals, but that would be 650. Not even really tempted with that. To get any plus money out of the Rangers in the race, you'd have to go to 4 at plus 155. But if you think they score 3 first, which is definitely achievable, that's only minus 110. So that's probably a pretty good bet if you want to take it in that aspect. Steve, what do you think here? You said you're not playing anything tonight, but if you were, how would you attack this? Because I'm just gonna go with the Blues. I'm gonna roll the dice, 60-minute line, and try and get that 230 value out of it.
I guess I would look to get lucky maybe on the Blues over 2.5 goals, minus 106. If you want me to lean on Blues angle, then I'm going to just try to hope that they get to 3 goals maybe at minus 106. But the Rangers, I don't even know. Rangers over 3.5 plus 120. I can't even say that's tempting just because of everything we're saying here. If there's going to be, let's see, Shesterkin and Bennington are the goalies. And I'm going to see if there's anything nice with a goalie shutout here, because maybe this is actually potential for that. I don't know. Bennington at 15-1 odds for a shutout. I guess that's not going to happen. Dave, if you're forcing me, which this is a disgusting game for me to play, to be honest, I want nothing to do with this. Then yeah, why not? Blues over 2.5 goals.
All right, there you go. And you can always, you're always going to get plus money for winning margins. And I don't as much as I used to, but I used to be a pretty big winning margin player. I always like the 2s and 3s. If you think the Blues can win by 2 goals, you're going to get plus 800 out of that. And if you think the Rangers kind of bounce back, get a win at home, they do it by 2, you're going to get plus 500. So you're finding some pretty big numbers in the winning margin. Difficult to hit, but if you can kind of calculate and make an educated guess, I would say, then winning margins are always something to look at if you want to get plus money.
So this is going to be the same thing we talked about with the Flyers. If you want to take the Blues plus 1, or to win by 1, it's plus 900. Blues to win by 2 is plus 800. And the Blues but to win by 3 or more is plus 700. So you sprinkle a little bit across the board on each one of those, and no matter what, you're going to be paid out at least plus 500 if they win. And last time I checked, that's better than plus 146 on the money line. And that's what I'm seeing right now. So if you really want to back the Blues, then I would cover all those bases. Again, Blues by 1, Blues by 2, Blues by 3. And then if you take the 2 losses, you'll grab the 1 win, and you'll get paid plus 500, which is going to be 3.5 times what the current money line is right now.
Yeah, so that's a good that's that kind of, I guess, popcorn style play that we always talk about on Sundays. A little different, but kind of the same.
Yeah, it's just a different, it's almost think of it as an elevator. What floor do you get off at? But there's going to be the hot girl when I get off the elevator, no matter. There's one that works on the first floor, the second floor, and the third floor. So drop me off at either one of the 3. Right?
All right, so we'll call that our elevator plays. That's what we'll start calling it.
Yes, there you go. That's a good thing.
So
I'll have to get a little elevator.
Yep. Ding.
Soundbite.
So all right, so there you go. We have a new playing style, and we just laid that out for you this evening. The elevator plays.
Yeah.
So be on the lookout for that.
But know that you're going to have to grab loser teams to try to make this happen. But the Blues aren't necessarily a loser team right now. Let's see, where are they in my standings? The Blues sit right there in 6th in the West, but they are just 11 points back, which that's not insurmountable, and they could even leapfrog the teams ahead of them with a few wins here. They could manage to find some, Colorado, as we mentioned, if their injuries continue to be a concern. Nashville, there they are. They've won 3 in a row. They're in 5th place, so they've been playing better. Although the last Nashville game watched against Anaheim, yes, I watched Nashville against Anaheim.
You must have been bored there, Steve.
That was a horrible hockey game. It was literally 1-1 in the 3rd period, and I just needed to get to 3 goals for, I think Anaheim is who I had.
I'm guessing it didn't get there.
No, I think I actually had Nashville, but no, they lost to Anaheim. I think actually won that game.
Oh, wow. All right, Steve. So here we go. We're moving on.
But Nashville beat the Devils.
Yes, they did. I heard about that.
I actually saw that.
Oh, okay.
I saw the last minute and a half. I tuned in, and I had the Devils to win by 1.5, so I tuned that in late, and Nashville tied it up with, I think, 9 seconds left or 8 seconds.
Yeah, I heard about that. Yeah, they tied it up. Game went to overtime, and then they won. So here we go, Steve. Game 4 of 6, and it's our boys. The Washington Capitals are in Edmonton to play the Oilers.
The last time I took the Capitals. I mean, the Edmonton Oilers against the Capitals with all the injuries. I was burned bad. So I'll tell you now, this is Caps or nothing for me. But over 6.5 looks good, to be honest.
Yeah, I think so. The thing that troubles me, Steve, is the Capitals, I believe, are 27th in the league in scoring. They're just not scoring a lot of goals right now. And we're not making any excuses, but it's worth noting how banged up this team is. Like I said, we're 26 games in, and they haven't played with a fully healthy team yet. And it looks like they're not going to for quite a while. So we need to get some guys back here if we're going to do anything at all. Kind of tough sledding ahead for the Capitals, which Steve, we've been blessed to see them. I believe it's 9 seasons in a row in the playoffs, and I tell you what, I always hold out the hope, but it's starting to look like we could be not going for year 10 consecutive playoff appearances. What do you think there?
Oh man, they're gonna need the injuries to kind of right themselves out. Here you go, man. Just today, they will not have Carl Hagelin because of a hip. He'll be out a couple weeks. Dmitry Orlov, he's now out. He'll be out until December 7th at least. Darcy Kemper, he's not going to play tonight. He's going to be out until at least December 7th. And Farabee, who's been playing well, is going to be out until at least December the 11th. So those guys, on top of Mallenstein, Brown, Tom Wilson, and Backstrom, who are still on the list from earlier this season, that's a lot of, that's a tough, losing those 4 players for the game tonight is kind of tough. And when I say take Caps or nothing, I gotta retract that statement after looking at that, to be honest.
Yeah, you hate to say it, but it's just kind of the way it is with them right now.
But Ovechkin's been playing well. Ovi has still been playing well.
Oh, yeah.
So he's carrying that team as much as he can. And, if the Caps were to make some kind of deep run here late, I don't know what the MVP tickets are for
we'd have to look at that.
Whatever they call that award for Alex Ovechkin at this point. But I'm trying to think of who really stands out in the NHL for a superstar right now. I'm having a hard time kind of pulling that off the top of my head, to be honest. And if you're going to have a player like Ovechkin will his team into the playoffs, then he's going to be very deserving of that kind of award at the end of the season. So maybe take a look at that, because I bet you he's getting paid a decent price. Edmonton players, they lost a couple players as well. Fogle and Ryan McLeod are both going to be out, and then they've had the previous few injuries as well, including Evander Kane with the slit wrist on the blade.
Right.
But
who said recently, Steve, little update, sorry to interrupt you there,
Yeah.
He still can't feel some of his fingers.
I don't even want to think about it. It literally gives me the heebie-jeebies thinking about it.
Doesn't it?
Because I've had a finger cut before, and I know the feeling of not being able to feel stuff. And yeah.
So that's a scary situation there for him.
That could actually be a career-ending injury.
It is possible, I think. If he doesn't regain feeling in his fingers,
This sets up for good for Edmonton. If there's a backup goalie, I think you got to take a look at the Edmonton goals tonight for the team goals for Edmonton. And at over 3.5 goals, a minus 106. McDavid and Draisaitl company, you got to think they're going to get the 4 goals.
Right.
Now, Edmonton, they've been having their issues as well. If there's a team in the West that kind of mirrors what the Capitals have been doing, then that's probably Edmonton. So if we go down to look at them real quick, they were minus 3 on their goal differential, just 14-11 overall, 6-4 in their last 10, just with the one game win streak here, just 7-6 at home. So nothing special to write home about there. And then the Capitals, minus 12 on their goal differential. They've given up 83 goals, which is a lot in terms of all the other teams. Put that in perspective, teams like Boston have only given up 49, Toronto 66, even Tampa Bay's only given up 75 goals. So the Caps are giving up a ton of goals and just 3, 5, and 2 in their last 10. I don't know why you want to take Edmonton over 3.5 goals.
Right.
That's the best bet. And as a Caps fan, you hope they win 5-4.
Yeah, well, we still want them to win, obviously. But you just kind of have to take it for what it is right now. And if you're gonna play this game, I myself, Steve, I'm gonna go into the player props just because as you're watching the game, you hope for a player. I am one of them guys that I don't bet on my team. No money line, no spread. If I'm going to do anything with him, I'm going to take a player, hope for a point, maybe a goal, assist, doesn't matter what it is, or shots on goal. So that's probably what I would do with that. So one thing I want to look at, Steve, and I want to get your opinion right real quick before we go to commercial. And this might be enticing here for player props and points. Connor Sheary, who has been a pretty good contributor and is playing pretty well for the Capitals right now, just for 1 point is plus 105. So we're thinking, if he just gets an assist, we cash in on that.
Oh yeah, man, that's not bad at all, to be honest. He's gonna be the product of he's gonna probably, I don't know if he's gonna move up in the line or whatever with the injuries, but Sherry's a nice little player, experienced. Over half a point for Sherry, I can see that.
Yep. All right, so that's going to be my official play out of that. We will go ahead and take us a quick break. We have 2 more games to cover and then a quick look at the futures, and we'll get you out of here for Puck Drop.
Well, I did not take that commercial. Already over with. So Flyers over 2.5 goals, Vegas over 2.5 goals, and Edmonton over 3.5 goals is plus 663.
Really?
I might throw one more in there, like Calgary. Calgary's gonna score tonight.
Oh, no doubt. Freaking sauce all over my sweater.
I need to listen to this advice.
Hey, Bill's listening to him. He says you can't hear the commercials. They're too low.
I'll take this. Okay. I don't know that. Yeah, we'll just go back on the air. The fucking same settings. It's been a while. Yeah, there it is. We should be good now. I'll take this. Colorado's gonna be down. The stupid settings keep resetting. Right. Yeah. I don't know why. There's no rhyme or reason why these audio settings divert back offline for the mixing board, but that's what happens if you had some weird audio issues. Then they should be corrected now. 2 days in a row. We got to look out for this, man.
We do.
Well, from the get-go, it sounded fun. So
yeah,
I gotta keep looking that up apparently. But go ahead, David.
All right, so thank you bearing with us there through a little technical difficulties here in the studio, but we are back, and we're going to go ahead and cover these last two games. We got about 9 minutes left, so we'll go rather quickly through these two games because honestly, they're really just kind of boring, if I'm being quite honest. We have the Arizona Coyotes at the Calgary Flames. Let's look into this real quick. We're going to definitely look at the team totals here for Calgary. They should be able to light it up. You know, we all know what Arizona is. They're just not very good. They haven't been good for they had a good year a couple years ago. We're trying for a playoff spot. They didn't get it. Since they've just been, rather mediocre as usual with them. So we'll look in here. The race here, I feel like would be pretty good. Race to 4 goals is only minus 120 for Calgary. That's telling you what this game is going to be. We'll look at the team total. Oh man, I just don't know. What if Arizona? What if we go under with them? Under 1.5 is plus 150. Under 2.5 is minus 180. So we're thinking 2 goals for the Coyotes. We'll see. Over 2.5 is plus 140 for them. So if you're looking for plus numbers, well, good luck in this game. It's heavily in favor for Calgary. Steve, I'm trying to find something here. You know what? I might ride this under 1.5 for the Coyotes. See if it gets home. I don't know. I'm really just kind of taking a stab with that because, like we said, this should be a game for the Flames to really just kind of take it to the Coyotes. The Flames are at home as well. They do have some firepower there. So let's, take this game for what it is. It's a beat up on Arizona. Steve, you have anything for this one? I don't know. I'm taking the under 1.5 Coyotes goal.
Yeah, the bet that I wasn't going to make tonight, which I'm going to make now, will be, well, I'll tell you at the end, but I'm going to take over 3.5 goals for Calgary at minus 132 in my little 4-team goal parlay that I got going on here, which when we go over picks, I'll tell you.
All right.
But yes, Calgary scores 4 goals at least to me.
I would think so. I really would. So really, not much to be excited about in this one. I really think it's Calgary or nothing. Take a high total for them. Try and cash that one home. And see what they can do. And so now, Steve, my book is checking the location as if it doesn't know where I'm at. So would you take us into that last game while this thing does whatever the hell it's doing?
Sure. So the last game on the board for tonight is the Vancouver Canucks minus 240 favorites, which is crazy to me. Over Montreal plus 195 on the comeback for Montreal. Over under is 6.5. Let me get to the injuries real quick for this one. Man, I'll scroll. Anaheim decently banged up as of late. I'll go back to that. Calgary very healthy. And if we go to this game now with Montreal and Vancouver, Montreal's banged up. They put a couple guys on the, including David Savard. So he'll be out tonight. So will Brendan Gallagher. So two key missing components for that team. And at Vancouver, they are decently banged up as well. They've lost about a half dozen players here in the last month. But Thatcher Demko, he's not going to play. And I just don't understand this line. I'm going to have to get to this. What am I missing here with these two teams? Montreal is 12-11-1. They do have a minus 13 goal differential and just 5-5 in the season, but still probably playing better than what a lot of people thought that they would. Meanwhile, Vancouver is 10-12-3, 6-4 in their last 10, but just 4-6-1 at home. I don't know. I don't think you can trust Vancouver to lay minus 240 like this. In fact, since it's such a big line, I think we can go back to the elevator play.
That's crazy. That's just why. I don't understand it.
So on the elevator play, if you want to do it like this, then instead of Montreal getting plus 195, which I think that just moved on us. If you want Montreal to win by 1, is 10-1 odds. Montreal to win by 2 is 10-1 odds. And Montreal to win by 3 is plus 850. So if you want to take Montreal, then you can cover all those bases and get paid plus 650 after you cash the one and rip up the two losers that you'll have. But you have all bases covered with Montreal at Montreal by 1 at 10-1, Montreal by 2 at 10-1, and then the win by 3 at 850. And then if you need to do some insurance on Vancouver, then if you look at the Vancouver total goals for the game, I was hoping to get a 2.5 of them, but over 3.5 is minus 138. I don't know. I think Montreal is a very nice price to play tonight.
Absolutely.
On the road to Vancouver. I don't know why Vancouver's that big of a favorite.
I don't understand it either, Steve. That's crazy to me. I tell you what, if it were me, I would follow along that elevator play, or I tell you what, I'm gonna build some stuff for this one later. But I think I'm going to go ahead and roll the dice on the Canadians money line at plus 205, which will be, paired with something as always. But
yeah, and that's the trick. You want to parlay stuff, you're not going to be able to parlay the elevator plays and stuff. You got to just play those straight. Yeah. Otherwise, you're asking for a mess of a situation you're trying to figure
out. So that's this game. Canucks heavily favored at home. Not quite sure why. So I believe here at the deep end, we are going to ride Montreal this evening. All right, so that is the slate for the evening. Let's check out these futures real quick, and then we will get you all out of here. Coming up on 6:58, so we'll go through this rather quickly. I'm sure not much has changed here in that menu. If you're a futures type of bettor,
it all looks about this. Yeah, at least to win the Stanley Cup. Yeah, that's all about the same.
Yeah. So Steve, I'm seeing for the Pacific Division, I still got. We'll go with the top 3 here just to rattle it off. I got the Knights at minus 150, the Kraken at plus 700, and the Kings at plus 1,600. Now, those are the top 3 teams in that division, but the Kings are getting paid more for the Oilers and the Flames. Steve, what do you think there in the Pacific?
Let's see.
I
Oilers
like that
701.
Kraken plus 700 just to take a shot.
Well,
at
you're
it.
getting a better number than me because I just see plus 450 on my end. So that one's down on this book, as well as Dallas is all the way down to 3-1 now to win the Central. We talked about them at decent odds every week. If you like Dallas to win that division, then go and grab them. You still get a good price in the Jets from what I see at plus 750.
Yep.
But as far as the Pacific goes, I can't take the Kraken at plus 450 because that's too low. I'm just, that's one you needed to make a week or two ago, at least for my book.
Absolutely. So let's jump into the Metro real quick. The Devils minus 180. The Hurricanes plus 230. And the Islanders plus 1,600 over here. If you're feeling frisky, you could try the Penguins. You never know what they can do. They're plus 1,500. They actually have a better number than the Islanders, who are in third place in that division. Everybody else, for any of these numbers, I would like to see them playing a little bit better. The Capitals are starting to get a number that is a forget about it number for me. So we're not even going to really touch on that at the moment. Steve, anything in the Metro?
Not really. I think from this moment, I would be hesitant to grab anyone just because of such a big leads that the Devils and the Bruins have created. Reevaluate in January.
Right. All right, so we talked about the Central. We will wrap it up this evening with the Atlantic Division. Boston minus 260, the Leafs plus 350, and the Lightning plus 900. Those are the top three teams in that division. Right now, I'm not much of a futures guy myself anyway, but I'm probably definitely staying out of the Atlantic. The only thing I'm going to do with that would be the Red Wings to make the playoffs, which I said and took before. So that's really my only thing coming out of the Atlantic. We see what that division is right now this year. So, Steve, what do you think about the Atlantic?
Let's see here. As far as that one goes, I mean, I don't know. I just don't want Tampa or Florida. I think Tampa misses Tyler Johnson for sure.
Right.
Your Red Wings are still getting 100-1 to win that division. But let's see, where does everyone stand? Let me get back to my standings here. You know what, man? Detroit at just 11 points back at 100-1 odds. They can make a run to cover 11 points at some point. 12-7-5 overall for the Red Wings. 5-3-2 in their last 10. So they're getting points. They're Boston and Toronto have just been on fire, and even Tampa Bay now. I just mentioned how I don't like them without Tyler Johnson, but here they are 8-2 in their last 10. Winners of 2 in a row as well. I guguess it's not going to happen, but at 100-1 odds, you could just put $2 on it.
Yeah, and just let it ride. Yeah. All right, so we've taken you through the future division plays here. So that's going to wrap it up for what the puck is going on this evening. A couple notable items. Go ahead.
I was going to get out my play real quick.
Oh yeah. Let's go through our plays real quick. I have one as well.
I'm going to take a 4-game parlay. Vegas Knights over 2.5 team goals. I'm going to take Philadelphia Flyers over 2.5 team goals. I'm going to take Edmonton Oilers over 3.5 team goals. And Calgary Flames over 3.5 team goals. And that pays just about 13-1 odds.
Very nice. We like that, Steve. I might do a little something just like that here in a little bit. So I'm gonna go on a little bit of a shot here. I got a 4-pick parlay as well. I'm gonna go over 6.5 in the Knights Bruins game. I'm gonna go St. Louis Blues on the money line in New York playing the Rangers. Over 0.5, so we just need 1 point from Connor Sheary. Goal, assist, doesn't matter. Either will work. And to wrap it up, I'm going to take a stab here with the Flames to blanket the Coyotes under 1.5 goals team total for the Coyotes, and that's gonna pay. That's got a plus 3,397. So just about, and that'll pay out nicely if we can get that to go. Might be a tough ride, but we like the odds on that.
What is it ever an easy ride? Once in a while you get a walk, but yeah,
there are no easy rides over here.
Not in hockey gambling, unless you're getting over cracking 2.5 team goals and they score 9.
Exactly.
That's an easy ride, yes.
So, all right. So you have official plays. You can find those on the Twitter in just a bit. If you're looking for anything else, we always encourage you to think for yourself. But if you're looking for a little guidance, there might be 1 or 2 more plays coming to the Deep End Twitter. A couple other notable items real quick. We are talking possible day change for what the puck is going on. We will announce that if we do decide to do it. We will still be on weekly. Don't worry about that. But there is possibly a day change. So we will announce that if that comes to fruition. Friday Soccer Paycheck is on a little bit of a World Cup break right now. We'll let you know when that comes back. And as always, tune in with us, the round robin, first thing Sunday morning for the deep, deep, deep dive of the NFL. All right, that's going to wrap it up. If you're watching hockey tonight, enjoy. Good luck on some tickets, and we will see you next week.